Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 25th April 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 7 topics which are very much related to UPSC. So today's newspaper, that is Sunday special, will be very important to cover science and technology point of view. So please don't skip this video. Okay. So now let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says customs duty on vaccines, oxygen waived for 3 months. So this article mainly focusing on one important topic which comes under our economy, that is customs duty. So you need to know about what is meaning of this customs duty for sure. So this topic will be important regarding GS paper 3 under economy, and this topic will be very much important regarding prelims point of view. So you need to know about what is this customs duty for sure. Okay, so we are going to see context why it is in use and as well as some important details here. Okay, and also some facts regarding this customs duty. So now let us try to understand some background regarding this article. So as you all know, because of this second wave of this coronavirus, now we are seeing there are more than 3 lakh of cases that are reported every day, and there are approximately very near to 3,000 deaths that are seen across country because of this COVID-19. So because of this, what happened, there are some reports in many states that there is lack of oxygen supply is seen, and because of this lack of oxygen, that is leading to increase in number of deaths of this COVID-19 patients. Okay, so because of this, now here government took this decision to mainly waive off of this custom duty mainly on vaccines and also oxygen here, that is for 3 months. So now let us try to see this article in a great detail. So if you say context, it mainly says that our government decided to exempt some basic custom duty on import of COVID-19 vaccine, and also to waive off health cess on import of medical grade oxygen and also other equipment which is very much useful for treating of these patients who are suffering with this coronavirus. Okay, so here context says that government decided to waive off or exempt customs duty on this import of this COVID-19 vaccines and also health cess on import of some medical grade oxygen and also regarding other equipments which will be very much useful for treating of patients who are suffering with this coronavirus. And now let us talk about what is significance of this step. So first one is, it will helpful mainly to boost oxygen supply or oxygen availability in hospitals, so we can save number of lives of patients who are suffering with this coronavirus. And next important thing is, it will also help to improve supply of oxygen and as well as some medical supplies and also even vaccines. Okay, so this is significance of this step. And now let us see some facts regarding this. What is this customs duty? So customs duty mainly refers to tax that is imposed on transportation of goods across international borders. That means whenever any goods which are mainly imported or exported here, so on these imports, here customs duty will be levied by government here. Okay, so this customs duty is one of important indirect tax. Okay, so this is levied by government on imports and as well as exports of goods. So this is about this customs duty. So whenever we are importing this COVID-19 vaccines or whenever we are importing this medical oxygen or some important equipment, so government will gonna impose this customs duty. Okay, so now there is no custom duty that will be imposed. Okay, so this is the thing. And now let us talk about next important topic, that is cess. So there are two important words, that is cess and as well as surcharge, which mainly seen in news. Okay, so this cess, it is a form of tax which is levied or which is a tax which is collected by government. Okay, mainly for development or welfare of a particular service or for a particular sector. So whenever government which is imposing tax mainly for special purpose, okay, for example for development of so and so sector or welfare of particular service, so that tax mainly comes under this cess. So government will also impose tax, but it do not have any particular cause or any particular reason, so that will comes under this surcharge here. Okay, so this tax mainly charged over and above direct and as well as indirect taxes. So this cess which is collected for a particular purpose, and whatever amount which is collected as a cess, that cannot be used for other purpose, or that cannot be diverted for any other purpose. So for which purpose it is levied, so that money which is collected, that can be only used for that purpose. For example, in India we have education cess, we have Swachh Bharat cess, and as well as Krishi Kalyan cess. Okay, so this is about this topic, and I hope it is very much clear. And now let us see next article. So if you see this pic, so you can understand that this new CJI of India, that is N.V. Ramana, mainly our President of India, he is administering oath to this person. Okay. So in this context, I want to give you one homework. So please refer about some facts regarding this CJI. Okay. So we already discussed enough regarding this CJI. So please do revision in that. Okay. So please open your Lakshmikant, okay, Polity Lakshmikant, and try to revise this topic of the CJI and judges of Supreme Court. So we already have a detailed discussion regarding this topic, right? And now let us see next article. Title says 384 rescued, 10 bodies recovered after avalanche in Uttarakhand. So this article mainly focusing on one important topic, that is avalanche here, okay? So this topic will be very important regarding disaster management, which comes under GS paper 3. And this topic will be very important regarding mains point of view, because disaster management which comes under our main syllabus but not our prelim syllabus, okay? So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. First, we are going to see context and as well as some important details, and we are going to see some basics regarding this avalanche, okay? So what is this avalanche and what are the steps which can be taken, okay? So now let us see first context. Here context says that 10 bodies they were recovered and about 384 people recovered in ongoing search and rescue operations after avalanche hit by Border Roads Organization. So BRO, it is going for some rescue operations here. So in this ongoing search and rescue operations by this BRO, so in this rescue operations 10 bodies were recovered and about 384 people they are recovered here, okay? So recently avalanche that happened in Uttarakhand. So in this avalanche, Borders, Roads and Organization mainly going for rescue operations, and they found this much data here, okay? That is 10 bodies are recovered and 384 people they are recovered from this area. And this avalanche mainly happened in Sumna Rimkhim Road in Uttarakhand area, which is very much near to Joshimath, Malari and Girki Dobla Sumna axis here. So please open your map and try to locate where is this location is exactly present, okay? So regarding this avalanche, there will be some editorials which will be coming in our Hindu paper in future. So you can we are going to discuss that in a very great detail in that lecture, okay? Don't worry about that. And now let us see about what is avalanche here. So before seeing this avalanche, we need to know about Himalayas. So as we know, Himalayas, they are located here, right? Okay, so we are going to divide this Himalayas into 4 types of Himalayas, right? So first one is called as Punjab Himalayas. So this Punjab Himalayas, they are located between river Indus and river Satluj, and here we have river Kali. So between this river Satluj and river Kali, whatever Himalayas are present, they are called as common Himalayas, okay? Common Himalayas. And between river Kali and here river Tisa, they are called as Nepal Himalayas. And between this river Teesta and river Brahmaputra, so these Himalayas are called as Assam Himalayas. So we are dividing this Himalayas into 4 types: Punjab Himalayas, Common Himalayas, Nepal Himalayas and Assam Himalayas. So Punjab Himalayas are mainly located between river Indus and river Satluj. And between river Satluj and river Kali, we have Common Himalayas. And between river Kali and river Teesta, we have Nepal Himalayas. And between river Teesta and river Brahmaputra, we have this Assam Himalayas. So why we are talking about Himalayas now? So these Himalayas are very much young, right? So they are young folded mountains, and this region is a very tectonically active, and it is also very unstable. So as you all know, this Indo-Australian plate, which is moving towards northward and hitting this Eurasian plate. So because of this, whatever sediments which are present in this Tethys Sea, that led to upliftment here. So because of this plate tectonics, that led to rise of this Himalayas. So they are called as young folded mountains, and this region is most tectonically active. So because of this, we can say it is a most unstable terrain. So in this unstable terrain, whenever we are going for any human activities like construction of dams, so and so, and as well as indiscriminate construction activities, so in this Himalayas, there are many pilgrimage sites are present. For example, Badrinath is present. For example, Kedarnath is present. So in these pilgrimage sites, there is increasing human activities that are seen here. So because of this human activities and as well as indiscriminate construction activities in this unstable area, that is leading to various hazards. Not only these avalanches, we can see there are a number of hazards like earthquakes, landslides, avalanches, flash floods, forest fires in Uttarakhand, and as well as soil erosions. So these are important and various hazards. They are seen in this tectonically active or unstable region in Himalayas. So if you're talking about this avalanche especially, so this avalanche, it is mainly defined as a flow of snow downside of mountain. Okay, it will also brings rock slides and as well as debris flow. Okay, so if we see any mountain is present here, okay, it is mainly covered by snow, ice, etc. What happened here, whenever there is sudden movement of some part of mountain downhill, so this sudden rapid movements because of gravitational force, so these all called as avalanche here. Okay, so avalanche, it is a rapid down slope of movement of snow, movement of rocks and debris. Okay, so it is a rapid down slope of movement of snow, movement of rocks and as well as debris. So this movement of this is called as avalanche here. Okay, so what are natural factors or natural triggers for this avalanche? So we can broadly talk about 4 important natural causes. First one is because of large mass of fresh snowfall. So if at all in winter season, when already these glaciers are covered with snow and everything, right? But what happened whenever there is increased snowfall, what happened, that will also leads to movement of this snow, ice, everything that will come downwards. So this is one important cause here. And next one is blizzards of snow. It is also one important cause. And next one is whenever there is rainfall that is happening or glacier melting is happening, that will also leads to this avalanche. And next one is because of earthquake. So these are 4 important natural triggers that is causing this avalanches. And what are mitigation steps that can be taken? So this mitigation step will be very important regarding mains. So now let us see what are these mitigation steps. So first one is, in winter occupancy of snow covered slopes should be avoided. So we need to avoid large amount of snow deposits. Okay, so here we need to go for removing of this snow that is mainly accumulated here, that should not be beyond some dangerous level. And next one is we need to go for forecast of avalanche. So we need to go for studying of some soil deposition data and as well as heat input and snow angle. So whenever we are going for studying of these parameters, that will be very much helpful for predicting, and as well as that will be helpful to take some precautionary measures. We can go for even remote sensing technology and as well as satellite imagery regarding this study of these parameters. And next one is we can go for construction of power lines and highways and railway routes. They must be avoided in this tectonically active areas. Okay, it will also trigger this avalanches. And next one is some areas which are mainly prone to avalanches. So in these areas, agriculture and as well as some recreational activities, they should be avoided. Okay, so we can go for these recreational activities only in summer season and as well as spring season, but not in winter season. And next one is using of some explosives. Mainly they should be banned, and as well as if there is essentially useful to use this explosive, we need to use them in a very controlled manner, because excessive use of this explosive, they also trigger this avalanches. And next one is we can go for building of snow fences or walls. For example, if you have any mountain here, so we need to go for building of walls here, such that if there is any avalanche, that will not cause much damage here. Okay, so this wall that can stop this flow of this avalanche to beyond this area. And next one is we need to go for sufficient density of trees. So if there is any mountain is present, so when we have some density of trees are present here, so these roots, they will go inside this, right? So they will hold the snow and everything, right? So because of this, whenever we are having density of trees across the slopes of these hills and mountains, that will decreases this chances of this avalanches. And next one is we can go for setting up of quick response teams at local level, and also we need to deploy this national disaster response force, and we need to equip them with standard avalanche equipments and as well as devices. For example, we can use GPS, we can use some radio beacons and as well as shovels mainly to control these avalanches. And next one is we can use snow and avalanche study establishment. So it is mandated with forecast of snow avalanches. And finally, here BRO that need to keep whistle for keeping highways clear after avalanches. Okay, so these are some important mitigation steps that can be taken after this avalanche. Okay, after this avalanche and also even before avalanche. And now let us talk about next article. Title says biological E gets not for phase 3 clinical trial. So this article mainly talking about one more COVID-19 vaccine candidate, that is biological E. So whenever you are seeing this vaccine candidates in news, so there is high possibility of getting questions in your prelims regarding this. So you need to know some facts because we cannot predict UPSC, right? Okay. So now let us try to discuss about this topic in a great detail. So this topic will be important regarding GS paper 3 under science and technology. Okay, I want to give you another homework. So you have to refer how many phases of clinical trial will be there. So what about this phase 1 of clinical trial, phase 2 of clinical trial, phase 3 and phase 4. We already discussed in a very great regarding these different phases of clinical trial in our earlier lectures. So please let me know in comment box what is difference between phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. So you have to remember this for sure, because you can expect a question regarding these different phases of clinical trial in your prelims also. Okay, and now let us try to see this article in a great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that biological E, it is a vaccine candidate, that is coronavirus vaccine candidate, which is to be received this approval to start this phase 3 clinical trial here. Okay, so it is a one of vaccine candidate to treat this COVID-19. Okay, so it is mainly subject to expert committee of the CDSCO, that is Central Drug Standard Organization. So if you are talking about some details regarding this topic, it mainly says that phase 3 studies to be conducted in 15 sites across the country here. And this phase 3 study mainly conducted to evaluate immunogenicity, whether it is producing immunity or not, and also to study about safety of this vaccine candidates here. Okay, so this is about this topic. Okay, and if you're talking about some schedule of this vaccine, it is given in 2 doses and it is given intramuscularly. Okay, 1 dose will be given. Okay, and after that, after 28 days, again second dose will be given. So that means between 1 dose and second dose, we have 4 weeks of time. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us see next article. So this is Red Planet. So this article mainly talking about Mars. So if you see context, it mainly says that making oxygen. So this article, it is very important and it is very important development regarding this Mars Perseverance mission. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under science and technology, especially regarding this space. Okay, space technology. So now let us try to understand this article in a great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that NASA has extracted oxygen from carbon dioxide in the thin Martian atmosphere. As you know, around this Mars we have just a very thin atmosphere is present. So in this atmosphere, carbon dioxide is present. So from this carbon dioxide, NASA extracted oxygen here. Okay, so this is mainly achieved through device, that is MOXIE, MOXIE. So through this MOXIE instrument, it led to extraction of oxygen from this carbon dioxide, which is present in a very thin atmosphere of Mars. So now let us try to see details of this article. So if you are talking about this MOX, so it is mainly stands for Mars Oxygen in Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. Okay, so this is Mars Oxygen in Situ resource utilization experiment. And now this MOXIE instrument that produced about 5 grams of oxygen. So this 5 grams of oxygen, it is very much equivalent to roughly 10 minutes worth of breathing for an astronaut. Okay, so this is important thing. And if you're talking about significance, so what is significance? So first one is, it is the first extraction of natural resource from environment of another planet. Okay, so we are extracting this oxygen on Mars planet, right? And next one is, it will be useful for oxygen for astronauts and as well as even for rockets. So now let us try to see what are important facts regarding this. So here we need to talk about NASA's Perseverance. So this NASA's Perseverance mission, it is one of most advanced and as well as most expensive and most sophisticated mobile laboratory which sent to Mars. Okay, so important aim of this Perseverance mission, it is mainly to drill or collecting some core samples of most promising rocks and as well as soil which is present on Mars surface. And along with this Perseverance, there are 7 instruments which are sent. So out of this 7 instrument, one is MOX here. So this MOX will use power to produce oxygen mainly by using atmospheric carbon dioxide of Mars atmosphere. And what is significance? So it has 2 important critical needs. First one is, it will provide some oxygen that is essential for astronauts for breathing purpose. And this one is, it can also be used as a rocket fuel, okay, for trip back to Earth. Okay, so this is about significance of this MOX. And now let us see next article. Title says mini black hole. So regarding this black hole, we saw number of times regarding these facts. So black hole which is mainly formed at end of this life cycle of a star, right? So based on this nebula which is present, we can see some small stars are formed and some big stars are formed. So whenever these small stars, they are ending their life, they will form this dwarf stars, okay, dwarf stars. And next one is, if you're talking about this big stars, they will end as a neutron star or a black hole based on its size, right? So this is about some background regarding this black holes. And this topic will be again important regarding GS paper 2 under science and technology, okay? And now let us try to discuss this article in a great detail. Okay, so if you're talking about this study, so this study mainly published in monthly notices of Royal Astronomical Society here. So this study mainly says that scientists, they have discovered a small known black hole in Milky Way galaxy. Okay, in Milky Way galaxy itself, it says scientists mainly saw one small black hole. Okay, so this black hole which is very much closest to our solar system, and name which is given to this black hole is Unicorn. So now let us try to discuss about some important details regarding this Unicorn. This Unicorn, it is a black hole and it is roughly about 3 times the mass of our sun. So it is about 3 times mass of our sun, and it is also very special because a luminous red giant star orbit that is seen along with the black hole. So whenever we are seeing this red giant star along with the black hole, so this system is called as binary star system, and name which is given is V723 Mon. Okay, so in this context, I want to give you again one homework. So please revise about what is this black hole and everything. So we already have a detailed discussion on this black hole in our earlier sessions. And now let us come back and let us see next article. Title says groundwater depletion may reduce winter cropping intensity by 20% in India. So if you are talking about cropping in India, so we mainly see 3 seasons. So first one is Kharif season, second one is Rabi, and third one is Zyar season. And let me know about in which months we are going for Kharif season, in which month we can go for Rabi or winter season, and in which month we are going for this Zyar. Okay, so Kharif crop we can go for majorly growing of paddy, and this Kharif crop it is mainly based on monsoon season. Okay, and Rabi it is a winter crop which is mainly grown in northern Indian side. Okay, in northern India we can see some northeast monsoons are present. So because of that rainfall, the farmers in this northern India, they will go for this Rabi plants. Okay, Rabi cropping. And Zyar, it is mainly between this Kharif and Rabi season. We have just a small amount of time. Okay, so we will go for production of vegetables and as well as fruits in this Zyar season. Okay, so this article mainly focusing on this Rabi crops are called as winter crops here. So now let us try to understand this topic in a great detail. So this topic will be important regarding GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, and as well as GS paper 1 under geography, right? So now let us see context first. So if you see background of this article, it mainly says that India is second largest producer of wheat. So wheat, it is an important crop which is grown during this Rabi season or winter crop season, right? So if you're talking about wheat production in India, about 30 million hectares of land in country which is dedicated primarily for producing of this wheat, okay? But this recent study mainly says that there is severe depletion of groundwater. So whenever there is depletion of groundwater is seen, that will affect crop intensity or amount of land which is planted in this winter season. And this study mainly says that there will be decreasing of plantation, or whenever we are going for this winter cropping, that will be decreased by 20% by 2025. So this is data which is given according to study. So if you are talking about some important Rabi crops, they include wheat, barley, mustard and peas. So these are 4 important Rabi crops. And if you are talking about some important details to highlight it in this article, it mainly says that, so international team which mainly studied India's 3 main irrigational types. So in India we have mainly 3 irrigation types of this winter crop areas. They include dug wells, tube wells and as well as canals. So this study also analyzed groundwater data from Central Groundwater Board. And finally it says that 13% of villages, okay, in which farmers they are going for this winter crops, they are located in critically water depleted areas, okay. So these winter crops, whenever farmers are going for cropping, so about 13% of villages they are presented in mainly in water depleted areas. So because of this water depletion, it may also leads to 68% of loss in future to these farmers. And this article also talked about what is some alternative source. So whenever we are saying groundwater depletion regarding this tube wells, so and so dug wells, so we can have alternative, that is canal irrigation. So whenever we are switching towards this canal irrigation, there are some challenges. First one is there is limited adaptation potential for this national scale, and also the crop intensity may decline by 7% nationally. So these are some important challenges regarding this whenever we are shifting towards this canal irrigation. So this is gist of this topic. And now let us see next topic. So before seeing next topic, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear UPSC in 2022, we came up with one highly effective, economical and also beneficial course, that is current affairs package along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful to clear UPSC 2022? So one thing you need to remember here is, before entering into examination hall, you need to know at least 1.5 years current affairs for sure. So and this is right time to join this course to cover this current affairs in a comprehensive manner. And why we need to focus on this current affairs? About 50 to 60% of questions, okay, either it may be prelims or mains or even interview, you can get questions from this current affairs. So this course is very useful to understand this current affairs. So one important thing here is, if you're talking about current affairs regarding this UPSC, you need not by heart one line current affairs. So you need to understand issues thoroughly, okay. And if you're talking about this mains answer writing practice, many students who are especially beginners or freshers, they ignore this mains answer writing practice. But even though if they have knowledge, if they have even cleared prelims, they cannot clear mains without proper improvement in your answer writing skills. And in this course, we are exclusively focusing on how to improve your answer writing skills. And if you join this course, we also conduct prelims test on every Sunday, and we also provide you video explanations also. So in this way, this course is exactly focusing on demand of UPSC. So one thing I want to say, please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can talk to me on this number 8074765513. Okay, for further details, link which is given in description box, so visit that website once, okay. And now let's come back and let us see next article. Title says old SpaceX capsule delivers new crew to space station. So this article mainly talking about SpaceX Crew, that is Dragon. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under science and technology. So now let us see first context why it is in news and as well as some important details, okay? And we are also going to see some important facts regarding this capsule also. So the image you see here, it is International Space Station, okay? So now let us try to see this article in a great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that a recycled SpaceX capsule which is going to carry 4 astronauts, carrying 4 astronauts, they arrived at International Space Station. Okay, already the SpaceX capsule which used it earlier, and now the same thing after recycling that. So now it is mainly carrying these 4 astronauts to this International Space Station. And if you see name of that capsule, that is Dragon capsule. So this Dragon capsule was already used for SpaceX Space First Crew launch here, okay? And this was the SpaceX third crew flight for NASA here, and is the first to use a vehicle that is flown even before. So these are some important details. And now let us talk about what is the SpaceX Crew Dragon. So on May 2020, so that is May 2020, the Crew Dragon became the first space vehicle to launch humans from American soil in 9 years, and it was mainly built by Elon Musk SpaceX. So it is a private company, okay? So if you are talking about importance of this SpaceX here, it is for first time that astronauts used this spaceship or spacecraft which was mainly built by a private company. So because of this, it is beginning of a new era in this space exploration. And next one is even Falcon 9 rocket which is used, okay, that was also built by this SpaceX itself. Okay, so these are some important things regarding this SpaceX Crew Dragon. So these are some important things that should remember regarding this article. And I hope it is clear now. So today is Sunday, so essay topic is ready for you. So today's essay topic is mental and physical strength. How important is it for success? So this is very much important for you right now, right? Especially for UPSC aspirants. So they need mental strength and as well as physical strength. Finally, if they are maintaining this mental strength and physical strength toward their preparation, then you can enjoy process of learning and finally you can achieve your ambition of clearing this UPSC, right? So please do some research regarding this mental and also physical strength, how it is important for success. And you have to write this essay within 750 words and time limit it is 1.5 hours. Okay, try to write this essay. By this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll this current affairs package.